So The Watcher is the newest Netflix series from creator Ryan Murphy, who seems to just have endless time to make shows.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's Dahmer or American Horror Story, American Horror Stories, or
He's just always making shows.
American Crime Story, or whatever the friggin' hell. This guy's making shows. Now, this is based on a true story, but because it's Hollywood, we'll say loosely.
Yeah.
But I feel like the core elements from what I've seen, because I did go watch a video or two on the true story. We should say first, for those of you who have not seen it, the show is about a family who moves to the suburbs, and they buy this house, and as soon as they move in, they start getting mysterious letters from the Watcher. And the Watcher is saying some spooky shit.
Real spooky.
And, of course, this sends them down a path of investigation and paranoia.
An obsession. Oh, man, the obsession.
So, as far as the review goes really quick, before we get into spoilers, overall, I'll say this. I was engaged. Right, like throughout. I was very much. We watched this really quickly. We only started it like 2 days ago. It's only 7 episodes. They're about 45 minutes a piece, so it's a fairly quick watch.
Yeah.
But we have like a bunch of shows that we're watching, and like
so many.
I put those aside, which I was like, I'm like really into those shows. So I don't know why the hell I did that, but I just really like got super invested in just. It's one of those shows where you just want to know.
100%.
Right? You're watching and you're like, oh my God, just tell me who it is already.
Yes.
Right?
The whole time.
And so I think where people will be greatly disappointed is in the ending. The television series currently has a 6.7 on IMDb, which is pretty low for a television series. Anything under a 7 on TV is not good rating. And I have to believe that primarily is on the shoulders of the ending. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, I believe that people are just going to be disappointed in that. Mm-hmm. I liked the ending for a couple reasons, and we'll get into that, because I think it leaves it with the most to discuss, analyze, and I find that there kind of is an answer to everything. Right? But it's just not the answer that people are looking for. So, but it makes sense because, spoilers for the true story, they never found out who did it. So it's either the show has to decide who did it.
Yeah. And
you can just make it this person, like they did with like From Hell, with the Johnny Depp From Hell movie, where they were like, well, this is who Jack the Ripper is. Right?
They just decide.
Jack the Ripper was never caught, and they don't know who it was. Right? Same thing with the Zodiac Killer. David Fincher's movie, Zodiac. They had that where they were like, well, we think we know who it is. We're pretty sure we know who it is. So we're going to lean it really heavily that it's this person. Right? And that's the same for this show. It's kind of like, what do you do? What do you do when you don't have an answer, when it is an unsolved case? So I think that if you know the true story, you kind of expect the ending that you get. But overall, yeah, the show does Hollywood the hell out of things. Like, there's a twist every 15 minutes. People's reactions are a little ridiculous at times. I was rolling my eyes here and there for sure. But I was engaged. I was interested. And we'll talk more about like characters and everything. But it stars Naomi Watts and Bobby Cannavale. I think that's how they said his name on the thing. So I'll go with Cannavale.
Cannavale.
Sorry. What'd you think?
I mean, overall, I really liked the show. I think that it's very atmospheric and creepy, and the mystery is super engaging. But I do think it's fair to know that the ending is a bit ambiguous and open to interpretation. I had a coworker earlier today kind of tell me that that was the case, and at first I thought that was like a spoiler, but after hearing, what actually happened, I think that it's respectful that it ends that way because it's similar to how things, the openness is similar to what happens in, real life. So there's that, but I like it. I don't know. It was so quick. We were going through the episodes, and it's like really digestible very easily. So
yeah. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna talk spoilers from here on. So let's get into that. Now, this isn't against the show, of course, because people are people, characters are characters, right? You just accept them for who they are because everyone's different. The dad was definitely pissing me off a lot. Mm-hmm. His closed-mindedness. It was mostly the stuff with his daughter.
Yes, that was infuriating. The
overbearing stuff with his daughter. Mm-hmm. Then, because I actually had someone who wrote me and was like, oh man, the daughter is such a cunt. Mm. And I was like, what? Mm-hmm. We were back on episode 4, and I was just like in the middle of it. And I was like, I don't see that way at all. Like, the dad's just being an asshole. And then, 10 minutes later, she releases my dad is racist. And I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I was on your side.
No longer.
And now I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't feel like the show gives me a clear view. Did they ever outright say that he got fired from his job? No,
I don't think so. His wife maybe said something to Karen at a lunch that they were having, but
his job just kind of goes away.
It does.
So I have to imagine that he got fired. I mean, from everything that happened, especially with the racist thing and the way his boss talks to him about shit. I mean, that had to be his firing, right? Mm-hmm. So anyway, it doesn't matter. But yeah, the dad was definitely annoying me. That being said, I feel like in the last couple episodes, he redeems himself and is able to, put aside his old ways, and he bonds with his daughter's new boyfriend and brings him in, and he goes and he tries to apologize, and he's doing all these things. Now, do I think he should have to apologize to the neighbors? Not in a million years. No freaking way. So his wife asking him to go do that, I was like, what?
Yeah.
As far as Naomi Watts' character goes, Nora, I don't know how I feel about her. I feel mostly fine. I just thought that her asking him to go and apologize was outrageous. There was a scene where I was like, come on. And this was the scene with, and I never understood this, where the 17-year-old girl was in his bedroom.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And I'm like, why do you guys keep calling her 17?
Yeah.
You have no idea who this person is. No idea. This could have been a dude. I mean, you'd have no idea what this person even looks like. They don't show their face to the camera. That was some of the least incriminating evidence I'd ever seen in my life. When they brought it out, and it was supposed to be this big reveal, and he sent it to his work and his wife and all this stuff, I was like, okay, this isn't bad. There's clearly no, okay, you had a camera set up in this house, recording indefinitely, right? It's recording endlessly. There should be footage throughout the whole day. So you're telling me I brought a 17-year-old girl, where are the cops if she's 17 and they think that they slept with her? Although it's 16 in that state. So never mind. He can sleep with a 17-year-old. Doesn't matter. Regardless, all you have to be, I don't understand it, why at no point does he say, okay, where's the video of me screwing her?
Yeah.
Where's the video of me bringing her into the house? Where's the video of me interacting with her at all at any point? Where's the video of her getting up in the morning and leaving before I even wake up? Where's the video of literally anything else? All you're showing is a video of her walking around the house while I'm in bed, purposely never showing her face to a camera. Do you know how unlikely it is that a person's going to walk around a room avoiding a camera from every angle? It would be implausible.
It would be so insane to do. So I think that it makes no sense, right? Like
none. That scene makes zero sense.
Doesn't make sense. But also that who that is never fully answered, because the story that we get from their investigative journalist or investigator friend is
PI.
The PI is false. Like, she's trying to give them a sense of closure.
Mm-hmm.
So that girl wasn't anybody that she hired, and it feels like it's supposed to be like a ghost, because I don't know, like who else would she be working for aside from maybe the neighbors?
So the DNA that they get off of the letter is female.
Female, yeah.
Right? So the watcher could be this girl who is in the house, because we never really get an answer to who anybody is, in the end, and who the watcher is, right? And I'm definitely gonna get into my theory about the watcher, which I briefly talked to Kaylee about. But just they do bring this up again when it comes to the video with the kid being like, well, I went and I scanned back and I can't find any evidence of this girl ever entering the house. Why did you not find that footage before? Why did it take you? How did he find that footage? Just randomly just panning through it all. And then he sees a girl coming into the bedroom. Never saw her anywhere else in any of the videos. He had to specifically find that thing. So he's going through these videos.
Yes.
And he never, ever sees her enter the house. He never, ever sees them doing anything. He never, ever sees them interact with each other. And he has cameras all over this house.
Yeah.
That is the dumbest scene in this show by far and away to me. It makes no sense. And anybody who was in that situation would be like, okay, can you show me the video of me even talking to her?
Yeah, the logic of it, like the way that the characters respond to it as if it's so incriminating without questioning all the things that you've pointed out is, ludicrous. But that's what makes me think, like, is she supposed to be a ghost? Is it a video that he planted there somehow? Like, did he doctor footage to make it seem like there was a person? Because he was trying to get back at him for, having the whole fight in front of the house about, him sleeping with his daughter. Which he didn't, supposedly. But I just want to say that I agree with you about the dad's character arc, though. Like, in the beginning, I really wanted to like him, but I was very frustrated with his actions, and it was primarily with his daughter. But I think he does have a pretty interesting, like, redemption in the end.
Yeah.
Because he, and again, this is just how they're portraying these people in the show, but he does feel like somebody that really cares about his family.
Yeah.
And this situation is like a nightmare situation to be in, because not only is there like all the financial stress, like this is like they spent $3.3 million, all of their money and assets are poured into this house.
Which he lied to his wife about, and then made her sign documents unbeknownst to her that he was cashing out everything that they had.
Yeah. Which
is beyond screwed up, and the fact she stayed with him after that is insane.
Yes, that's wild. So, but beyond that stress, like, it's also all of the paranoia and like distrust among like your neighbors and people in the community, and that to me is so terrifying, because it's like, they're intelligent people, they're finding this pattern, and they're not able to get really anybody of any like importance to believe them. The police are corrupt, their neighbors are corrupt. It's like everybody in their life, aside from this one PI friend that they find, is a potential suspect. And I can't imagine. I feel like my mind would just break under all of that pressure. So that alone is terrifying, but then the accusations and the like, the conspiracy part of like the satanic cult and all of that stuff it's so scary. So scary to me.
The letters that were sent to the house in the first few that they got. When I was listening to the videos that were talking about the real case, the letters that they get in the mail are near identical. So the letters that you do hear in the show are almost verbatim exactly what was sent to the owners that were living there. Who do I think did it in real life? For me, more than likely, the family themselves. This is like, one of them Amityville horror cases where the family that moves in after, fakes it to sell a book, sell movie rights or whatever. That's just a theory, of course. We don't ever know what really happened in Amityville, but that seems the most likely to me. And I'm pretty sure that probably would be the case here. Although, while they do take this initial loss up front, now it could just be some high school prank, college prank, it could be some psycho, but why they never acted, I don't know. Now, as far as the John Graff murders, this was based on actual murders that took place in that town, but not in that house. So they kind of just threw that in there as like, hey, this also happened in this town, so they're connected. Why not?
I would need to do more research into like what actually happened there to make a judgment, because even just based on what those videos that we were listening to and like the show itself, I have no idea what could have been happening. I think you're right, it could have been some type of scheme to make money, but there's these unsolved cases. I think that it's really easy for people to kind of project, which is why the show works so well. It's like the projection of the conspiracy and the paranormal aspect, and all of that just can fit really easily into the brackets that are left in the story.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would have to look into it more, for sure.
So, who is the watcher? All right. So, after we finish the show, Kaylee and I were discussing it a bit for maybe 2 minutes. So I definitely think what they're going for in this show is the possessive nature that this house elicits from people that are within its vicinity for an extended period of time. The house calls to some people, and this is alluded to as well in the letters. It's like, was it 657 Boulevard, whatever? Mm-hmm. Was that the address?
Is it 257 or 657?
That was 657. Mm-hmm. What is it calling to you? Mm-hmm. That stuff. They give the house almost a supernatural presence in the show, and it definitely feels like that in the end, where people become obsessed with this house. They become obsessed with it to the point where they become paranoid that others want it, or somebody's going to change it, or somebody's going to do something to it, right? And so people who are around it, all the neighbors are psychotic, right? You got Rosemary's Baby.
Oh my gosh.
You got literally Mira Farrow and her son, right? Or who the hell is it? Jasper?
I thought he was her son.
Whoever the hell he is.
But anyway.
Some mentally handicapped guy who loves to ride around in dumbwaiters. So you got that crew. You got the freaking neighbors that live across from them that die but don't die because their son like made it look like their death happened to collect insurance money or something, and that shit was super weird.
Oh my god!
And I was
so
like, wait,
weird.
what? What's happening now? Then you got the potential John Graff guy who killed his family, potentially. You've got the teacher guy who, is obsessed with the house and has classes on it, and they start those like ode to the house letters. And so really what I think it comes down to is that there is this alluring presence of this house that makes people covet it. And, in doing so, people become obsessive to the point where it actually becomes detrimental to them, and they lose what they covet most. And in doing so, they then become guardians of the house in a way to where they want to preserve their image of it, and also to antagonize anyone who else has what they want. They all become like Smeagol or Gollum, right? Who obsesses over the ring. The house is the ring, and all the people who live in there are those who wore the ring or were in the possession of the ring, whether it was Isildur or Gollum or Bilbo or Frodo or whatever. It's just this like obsession that comes from being around this house. And you see it, of course, in the end when you've got this new society of members that have come on. And that one, the teacher guy basically outright accuses the other guy of being John Graff and like, how's your family and all that stuff. And so, yeah, you've just got this obsession with the house. Now, the PI girl, she doesn't really, she doesn't spend a lot of time around the house, right? She kind of meets them in other places. She's in the house once or twice, but I don't think she becomes obsessive with it. I think she might just, maybe she does. Maybe she becomes obsessive with the case because of the house,
I was
right?
Gonna say, I think that.
And then she makes up a story because she wants to feel like she's included. And she even, in her story, she becomes the person who owned the house. She like almost wants to fake like she was a resident there. Yes. Because she could never afford the house.
I don't think that anybody in the show is left untouched by the effects of the house in that supernatural sense. And I think that that's exactly it, that she still is influenced by it, and, becomes obsessed in her own way, so much as to write herself into the story. But so the show is Hollywood version of everything, but I really like the fact that everybody in the show is really wealthy. Like, I think it says a lot about greed and like rich people in general. That's what it says in
the letters, right?
And it felt so like, this is a world that I can't even imagine buying a $3.3 million house. Like, all of the things that are, the money stuff and everything, and the historical society, and all of it's kind of petty, but weird and cryptic and everything, and it just feels like a totally different world than the one that I live in. So I really like that quality of the show, but I think that you're spot on with like just that the house is influencing everybody that comes into contact with it, and they're obsessed in their own way, and that cycle is just perpetuating itself endlessly.
So the answer then becomes, who's the watcher? Is it this person? Is it this person? You can go through the whole laundry list of the characters that are the suspects in the show. And the answer is that they all are. Yes. Right? They all have become the watcher. You've got the dad, you've got the mom. They're lying to each other to go visit their lost loved one, right? You've got all these people who have come in across the street and are part of this society who protects the house and watches the house. So whether or not they're the ones writing the letters, we know the dad did write one of the letters, right? He outright admits to it. Although a lot of people in this show lie, I don't know. But yeah. I'm pretty sure he actually did write one of the letters. Who wrote the letters? I don't know. But I don't think it ultimately matters because everyone is obsessive over this house, and everyone is willing to be antagonistic to get, their version of the house to exist or to have the house or whatever. Yeah. It was now, who's killing the animals? Because they're really the only ones that are taking the life debt here.
I hate it.
You've got the ferret and you've got Karen's dog. Yeah. They both are killed, and there's a new entrance into the house under the stairs. So the people under the stairs, who are they? Right. I don't know. It definitely made it seem like the John Graff guy was the one that was down in the tunnels. But yeah, who's the girl? Who's the 17-year-old girl? That question. That whole thing.
Yeah, it's.
Why are you with a 17-year-old girl in pigtails? What?
I know, and they draw so much attention to it because it's like, you said the girl in pigtails, and then this person said the girl in pigtails to me. Like, I haven't heard that word in 10 years or whatever. And
Who hasn't heard the term pigtails in years? What the
for sure. Like, what are you talking about? But I
hear
have a
pigtails
question.
all the time.
What would you do if you found a tunnel in your house like that? What would be your reaction?
I'd be looking for that barbarian chick.
100%.
So I could suck on them. No.
Maybe a little.
What would be my reaction?
Yeah.
I mean, I would think that they were tunnels that were used for prohibition. And if I found like a bed and someone who's living in there, I mean, there's no way the police wouldn't come and investigate that.
Yeah.
It's outrageous that the detective's like, don't even bother calling the cops. What do you mean? What do you mean? I'll go to the press and be like, I have these things going on, and the cops aren't helping me. They would crucify the cops.
Oh my god.
So there's a lot of moments in here where you're like, this is why I said I'm rolling my eyes. I'm like, oh come on, you can't outright ignore people who are calling for help. And he does the same thing to Karen. You think Karen wouldn't make a fuss? This is literally all the girl lives for, is to make a fuss. Yeah. She would go straight down to that police department. Oh my god. And she'd be like, I'll go to the mayor, I'll go to the freaking president.
Oh my gosh. So from the beginning of this show though, I thought that somebody was living in the house. Like that was my instant.
Oh, that was mine too.
Impression.
Living in the walls.
Yes. So I still think that, with those tunnels that could be the case. And with the girl, maybe she's living there, and I don't know. Could it all be a series of strange coincidences?
Why they didn't break down that door and see where those tunnels led? I have no idea. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, you locked it from the other side. Okay, let me get a battering ram. I'll get through that door. Yeah. You bet your ass I'll get through that door.
And then the historical society's like, no.
Oh my god, you can't freaking tamper with our murder tunnels.
No murder tunnel tampering, please.
Yeah, and then you got the actor guy who just seems to be a nut, who's easily influenceable, but maybe not.
I mean, that's
because
the story
she made it up.
Yeah, exactly. We
don't
know who
was
he
there
is.
Some blood cult that was killing babies and drinking their blood? I mean, that sounds a little Pizzagate to me, but
it does. The conspiracy stuff is just. It's insane. And that's what's scary, too, when I think about it. Okay, what if that was happening to you? Nobody would believe you, because everyone would think you were crazy. Even if you have...
Oh, not everybody.
But, a lot of people...
Just go to Sedona. They'll all believe you.
A lot of people, though, would also be very, very much in disbelief. So, just the idea of being in that situation where, you're being questioned and your sanity is brought, into question in particular is, I hate it so much.
Yeah.
And I also want to say that the actress that played Karen, I found her very funny through most of the show. Even when she was being, angry and bitchy, she's just very comedic feeling. So,
I mean, she's been in she's been in, 50 things that I've watched. And she is legit. She might be the most typecasted actress that's ever graced the screen. She plays such
the
exact same character in every single show.
She's just like a bimbo all the time, but it's sometimes she's a nice one and sometimes she's a mean one. And I hope
that's her range.
Really
you want me to be a mean bimbo or a nice bimbo?
Exactly, that's it. But when she's a nice bimbo, I find her really cute.
I want to say the first time I ever saw her was in Legally Blonde. She becomes her BFF in that movie. And then she was in Click. She's, of course, probably her most infamous role is as Stifler's mom in American Pie. I think that would be where I first was introduced to her, actually, because that was before. Was that before Legally Blonde? Yeah, it had to have been. But let me see. She's been Jennifer Coolidge. Oh yeah, Jesus Christ, this chick has really been, Legally Blonde is 2001 and American Pie is 99. Okay, so 2 years before. But yeah, Stifler's mom, I want to say, is her first big role, and then from there, it was just boom, 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 that same role every single freaking time. So I wanted to punch her in the face.
this show, 100%. She was like just evil, and that's like it. That was, you know, like the rich person that's like so out of touch with like their humanity. Like that was what she was doing really, really well.
I'm assuming you've never seen Click. With Adam Sandler.
I have. I saw it once.
I think it's fantastic. Anyway, so yeah, that's about it. I just really mostly wanted to talk about the theories and why the ending actually did work for me, because, as I had said, there is no solution because they never solved it in real life, and people are like, I want to know who it is. Don't we all?
Yep.
Right? But leaving it off on this suspicious note, right? Where everyone's a suspect in the end. And I feel like, as I said, I feel like they do answer it if you're paying attention. Like, everyone's the watcher. Everyone's obsessed with this house. Like, it's just, it is there. Who wrote the letters? I mean, does it matter? Ultimately, yes. I mean, you got them killing people, killing animals. You've got them antagonizing people. You've got them coming in and out of people's houses. Terrible stuff, right?
Awful.
But you've also got everybody else involved who are, accomplices.
Yeah, they're complicit.
Even if they're not working together.
Yes.
Some of them are now. But yeah, I mean, I have a feeling that the mom and the dad in this are going to end up on that board of people who are like making sure that no one does anything to that house.
Right. They become suspects now for the new family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody is guilty. Everybody is to blame in the show in their own way.
Yeah.
So it was cool. I quite liked the series, though. I'm glad we watched it.
Speaking of watching things, we need to go do our Patreon watch party for Beetlejuice. She's already ready.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see you guys there. But if not, we'll see you at the next one, right? You're going to go to the Patreon and you're going to go to the next one?
Better, because we'll be watching.
We will be watching. Anyway. Oh, the voice in this also kind of reminded me a bit of the new Saw voice in Spiral.
Yes, it's
but
the new
not as
Saw
like
voice.
Feminine weird.
It was so creepy.
It sounded like the voice they should have used in Spiral. How about that?
It was so creepy. It was also very Mothman Prophecies to me.
Chapstick.
I didn't like it.
Ingrid Cold.
Yeah. Ingrid Cold.
All right, we're done.
Bye.